So I've been getting a lot of questions from you guys, and I really appreciate it. It shows that you guys are being forward-thinking, you guys are preparing, you guys are being sustainable, you guys are doing what you need to do to feed your family. So I think that's super awesome. And one of the questions I keep getting that I want to make a video about is, can I incubate my duck and chicken eggs together? So I'll be answering that question for you guys here shortly. So before we dive too deep, it's important to realize the incubation times that are going to be needed for chickens and ducks. So chickens, they typically take about 21 days to incubate and hatch. Ducks take up to 28 days to incubate and hatch. So based upon this aforementioned math, it's important to make sure that they go into lockdown at the same time. Because the last thing you want is to put them in the incubator at the same time, and then your chickens hatch, a week before your ducks hatch, and they're running around kicking the eggs around, pecking at the eggs. There's a bunch of different things that can go on, and then hygienic reasons. So for all those reasons, you want to ensure that they're going to hatch at around the same time. So in order to do that, it's very important that you put your chicken eggs staggered to your duck eggs. So allow your duck eggs to be in the incubator for around 7 days, and then incorporate your chicken eggs in with the duck eggs. Because that's what that's going to allow you to do, is to go into lockdown at the exact same time. So instead of going to lockdown at day 18 that you would normally do for your chickens, since you stagger them at day 7, you will go into lockdown at day 25 for both the ducks and the chickens. And so that's going to allow you to be able to hatch both of them at the same time and use that space at the same time that you're using it with the ducks. So this maximizes efficiency for you. You don't have to buy another incubator, and it allows your chickens and ducks to kind of imprint on each other too. That's really important, especially if you're going to be keeping, a dual flock, a multi-breed flock. I don't want the video to go too long, but I definitely see that there's a huge benefit to keeping ducks and chickens together. Ducks are domesticated, but they're not domesticated to the point that chickens are. So ducks are a little harder to train. Ducks are a little harder to get on a routine. Chickens, on the other hand, are really easy to train. It's intuitive for them, and it's really easy to get them on a routine. So if you've ever tried to wrangle, a bunch of ducks into a coop at night, it's very difficult to do. Well, if there's chickens that are already there, that are already going through with the routine, the ducks will follow. So having a few chickens in the flock will teach your ducks where to go, because they will follow the chickens, and the chickens will go and say, hey guys, it's nighttime, time to go to bed. So I think it's really important that if you're going to keep ducks and chickens, that there's a huge benefit to keeping them together. And on the flip side of the coin, ducks are great foragers. That has not been lost in the domestication process like you've seen with chickens. And so not all chickens are great foragers or great scratchers. So having a duck out there that's kind of showing them how to do it and finding lots of food is really beneficial to your chickens as well. So with that being said, let's go put some chicken eggs in with our duck eggs. So as you guys can see here, I have 20 eggs that I'm going to put inside the incubator with the duck eggs. So before we put them in the incubator, we have to sanitize the eggs, and we do so using a solution of antiseptic mouthwash, the original, the brown stuff that looks like apple juice, half water, half mouthwash. And we're going to spray it very liberally on these eggs. Don't be afraid to spray a bunch on there. We're going to let them air dry, and once they're dry, we'll put them in our incubator. As you can see, they're dry, and we'll now put them in our incubator. So we're going to very quickly put our eggs in our incubator. So our eggs are seated, and they're ready to start incubating. So it's day 25, and we're going to put the eggs into lockdown. And as you remember previously, we put the chicken eggs in after it had been going for about 7 days, so it would match the lockdown cycle for the ducks. So the chickens and eggs will go into lockdown at the same time. As you can see, the duck eggs are on the left, the chicken eggs are on the right. We're going to take the egg turner out and we're going to put them in. The egg turner has been removed. We will now put them in lockdown. So it's day 30. I waited a couple days just because some of the chicks were late hatching, but as you can hear and see, they are ready to come out. All right. So as you can see, we have the ducks and the chickens together, just hanging out. So yes, it can be done. You see here I have some ducks and some chicks that I incubated together, which is pretty cool. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's all about what it is that you are trying to accomplish. Well, everybody, I hope you found that video useful. Yes, you can incubate your chicken and duck eggs together, and I think there's many good applications for why you should. Personally, whenever I incubate ducks, I always incubate chickens as well. And very quickly, just to recap, the reason why I like to have them both together is because they're going to be together out there on my homestead. So I want them to, first off, I want them to get along. I want them to have already imprinted on chickens. I want them to be familiar and comfortable with chickens, and I want both species of animal to coincide happily. And when you do that at a very young age, right outside the egg, they think that they are literally brother and sister. 2, ducks, any kind of waterfowl, they've been domesticated, but they are not nearly as domesticated as their chicken counterparts. So they can be very unruly, they can be very hard to train, and they definitely on their own program. So having a chicken that is already domesticated to the point where they know where their coop is, they know what a coop is, they just instinctually know at night, I go in there, I sleep, I hang out, and the ducks will follow the chickens. So it's very good to have ducks and chickens because the chickens can pretty much train the ducks. You'll see, where the ducks go, the chickens go, and where the chickens go, the ducks go. So having the two coincide together allows it to be easier on you to get them into the coop at night. So those are the real big takeaways. But I hope you guys liked the video. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Any feedback is always appreciated. And as always, guys, long live the Republic.